on titration calculations. We have one equation for titration calculation. It is n sub a, m sub a, v sub a is equal to n sub b, m sub b, and v sub v. Subscript A tells you that that's referring to the acid. Subscript B is telling you it's referring to the base. Capital M is molarity in moles per liter. Capital V is volume, in our case here, in liters. Now, N does not refer to moles like it did for your gas law. Here, N refers to the number of hydrogen or hydroxide ions that are in the acid or base you're looking at. So it's dependent upon what type of acid or base you have. So let's do an example problem. I want to know what is the concentration of phosphoric acid if 10 milliliters of acid is neutralized by 20 milliliters of 0.20 molar sodium hydroxide. First thing I do is write my reaction. My reaction is between phosphoric acid, here with the ic ending. That tells me it had to come from phosphate. Phosphate has a -3 charge, therefore it's H3PO4, plus sodium hydroxide. Sodium has a +1 charge, hydroxide -1, so that's NaOH. I then need to record my variables. I'm looking for my molarity. I've been given my volume of 0.010 liters, and I know that I have 3 hydrogens that are ionizable in my phosphoric acid. For my base, I'm told I have a molarity of 0.20 molar. I have a volume of 0.020 liters, and I have 1 ionizable hydroxide ion. I next write my equation for titration, as it is listed above, and I solve for m sub a, or my molarity of my acid. After I've solved for my molarity of my acid, I just plug in my variables, remembering to include my units. So I get my 1 times 0.20 molar times 0.020 liters divided by 3 divided by 0.010 liters. Notice that my liters cancel out and I'm left with molar. Therefore, my concentration of my acid is 0.13 molar, or my concentration of my phosphoric acid is given here. Go ahead and try your practice problem number 1. Here you're reacting 0.030 liters of sulfuric acid is being titrated with aluminum hydroxide that's at a molarity of 0.5 molar. You're using 0.020 liters. And again, aluminum has that +3 charge, so you have to remember that. You should get an answer of the molarity of your acid to be 0.5 molar. Here's a second example. What is the concentration of hydrochloric acid, hydro in front, so that tells us what the acid is going to look like, if we have 20 milliliters of acid being neutralized by 40 milliliters of 0.20 molar aluminum hydroxide? So first we go ahead and write down our 2 reactants, our acid and our base. HCl is hydrochloric acid, because the hydro's in front tells us we cannot have an oxygen present. Aluminum hydroxide, aluminum has that +3 charge, so we have AlOH3. We're looking for a molarity of our acid. We've been given the volume. We've been given our number of ionizable hydrogens from our equation. We're told our molarity of our aluminum hydroxide, our volume, and we have 3 ionizable hydroxide ions. Next, I write my equation for titrations. And then I solve for m sub a, or my molarity of my acid. Once I've solved for that, I go ahead and plug in my variables, remembering units. I plug it into my calculator, and I get a molarity of 1.2 molar as my concentration of my hydrochloric acid. Go ahead now and try to do the next practice problem, finding what is the concentration of sulfuric acid if 50 milliliters of acid is neutralized by 30 milliliters of a 0.5 molar sodium hydroxide solution. Again, follow the same steps as I illustrated above. You should get an answer of 0.15 molar sulfuric acid.